This is the first time all season I think I've said something positive about Zach. The entire season it only took, 33 episodes for me to say something positive about Zach. What's up, everybody? Last night was family night on Love Island USA, and I can say this is the first episode to give me a buzz with some of the couples. So I thought it was a good episode just for that. But not only that, lots of drama with Melanie and Sincere's families. I definitely do think that Melanie's sister and Bryce's grandma were the MVPs, maybe of the entire season, because they both brought a lot to this episode. Let's start with the aftermath of TT and Casey's scavenger hunt to become boyfriend and girlfriend. They're ready to do life together. TT again talking about how she's never been a girlfriend before with the other girls, so they all gave her congratulations. I'm sorry to have to bring up Gen Z so much this season, but again, I have to ask, what's with Gen Z and this whole girlfriend stuff? Because between Zach not wanting that label with Kayda and now TT being a girlfriend for the first time at 25, again, I ask, is Gen Z okay? Is Gen Z okay out there? And I'm not saying this to shit on Gen Z. I'm legit concerned because clearly there is definitely many social media and technology has Gen Z fucked up when it comes to relationships. And I think it's just a lot of mess out there that messes with people's heads. There's a whole men versus women thing going on. And I feel like it's only going to get worse with Gen Alpha, and I don't like that, because it was hard to see the love on Love Island this season, but is there love in reality with younger people right now? So I feel bad that TT is just getting into a relationship at 25. And contrary to popular belief, if they are being genuine, I want it to be a good experience for her. Kayda, who had been upset that Trinity was calling her and Zach's thing a situationship, had another talk about that and why Kayda was sad about that. Trinity again just said she's confused on Kayda and Zach's situation. She just wants them to date. But she says what she says or what anybody else says doesn't matter. It holds no weight. Trinity apologized in her own way, and it did make Kayda feel better. She told Zach that she felt better now. Aniya wore this little tiny dress to bed for easy access with Carl, so I guess they are, maybe having more French fries than I would have thought. Carl tells Aniya that she's a great person for being happy for Casey after all of his bullshit, because Casey came in talking about him being in a relationship now, and Aniya did congratulate him, and I think that Carl likes that she can be the bigger person. And I think Carl maybe holds a little more resentment towards Casey than Aniya's at least putting outwardly. Because Aniya just says that Casey still deserves someone after everything that happened between them. So some good stuff there. Bryce woke up the next morning, found out it was family day, and Bryce and Trinity were the first people to have their families arrived, and I thought it was great. This is when I felt the buzz. I think Bryce and Trinity have been the most consistent couple this season, and their families coming together, it was kind of a perfect match. Zach even got emotional, saying, "I'm going to cry for them," this is the first time all season I think I've said something positive about Zach. The entire season it only took, 33 episodes for me to say something positive about Zach. But Zach was endearing when Bryce's family arrived, because it got me a little emotional too. Like I said, it was the first time all season I felt something. I feel like both of their families really love their, obviously Trinity's mother loves her daughter. Bryce's mother loves her son. At one point, Bryce was even sitting on his mother's lap. That is her baby, even if that is Grandpa Bryce. Trinity's mom telling Trinity that she's not the same girl she dropped off at the airport. She's basically a woman now, which got them both kind of crying. Bryce's mom is happy that Bryce has been a gentleman this whole time and that she raised a gentleman. Trinity talking about how she was apprehensive at the beginning. Apparently, Trinity's mom and sister could see the look on Trinity's face at first that she wasn't totally feeling Bryce, and that Trinity was worried about the age gap, but now Trinity sees the age gap as a green flag. Bryce talked about how their relationship was built on friendship and not on lust, although Bryce's grandma, who was one of the MVPs of this episode, was asking when are they going to open the hideaway for Bryce and Trinity, which was her first great moment. She then gave grief to Kenzie about the turtle tongue comments, which was also great. When Zach and Kayda joined them for a minute, Grandma was talking about how someone gets underserved in a three-way, like what happened at Paradise Cove with Bryce and Zach and Kayda. So yeah, the grandma was great. The best part was when Bryce's grandma told Trinity that her favorite moment was when Zach was laying in Trinity's spot in the bed and she told Zach to get the fuck out of my space. That was great. I feel like Bryce's grandma and Trinity have some kindred spirits going on, and it makes me see why Bryce actually is into Trinity so much. Trinity's mom talked about how Bryce really seems to care for her and that she understood the magnitude of how deeply Trinity was caring when she saw Trinity crying, because that's not what Trinity usually does. So yeah, it seems like everyone in Trinity's family loves Bryce. I thought they had a great family day. And frankly, it ended any doubts that I have that they're not going to actually give it a real try, whether Bryce and Trinity work out or not. Carl and Aniya's families also were pretty wholesome, as to be expected, because I feel like Aniya and Carl are both pretty wholesome people, or at least their edit has been wholesome now that we find out that there has probably been some French fries, with Aniya having easy access at night with Carl. But they talked about how they both bonded over being family oriented, and Aniya did talk about how she was annoyed when Aniya kicked Carl's ass out. They did love Carl coming back out of the cake though, and their mothers liked that they were both volleyball players, because what are the odds of two volleyball players finding each other? Not everyone is playing volleyball out there. Carl's mom liked their first kiss and says that Aniya is grounded and patient and takes care of everyone, which has been how Aniya has been this whole time, as the friend of to a lot of people. I did like the fact that everyone else in the villa was thinking that Aniya's mom looks so young, because she does. Aniya's family looks great. Definitely the best looking family. Although Carl's family looks good too. Carl's mom looks very regal. I see people say like she looks right from the movie Crazy Rich Asians, which she does. Carl's sister also has good genes too. But Aniya's mom and Aniya talked one-on-one while her sister was there too. And she didn't like how Aniya has been so emotional, but she does see that Aniya is so pure still. And she did throw a little shade at Casey, saying that Aniya should have hung on to the good person in Carl. But Aniya talked about how she was just holding on to Casey because of all the time they put in together. But they also called out Aniya for sugarcoating things with Melanie, saying that they downplay what Sincere does because he is also Aniya's friend. So I am glad that Aniya's mom brought that to Aniya's attention. That has been one of my issues with Aniya, that I do feel like she just tells Melanie what she thinks Melanie wants to hear while also downplaying what Sincere does. Although, would Melanie listen anyway? No, which we're going to get into. But I think Carl and Aniya had a really good family day too. Carl was happy how positive his mom and sister were about Aniya, and of course afterwards they were glad that their families liked each other. Casey and TT were next, and they had to talk about their journey together and how they are now boyfriend and girlfriend. They all talked about TT, of course, much like Casey. Casey's mom is happy that TT sticks up for her son or stands by her son. And they think that TT and Casey get each other's sense of humor, which is something I've always talked about with Casey and TT. They seem to have fun together. They seem to laugh together. I do agree with that assessment. TT's family did like Casey. They confirmed in confessional that TT has never had a boyfriend before, which to me is still crazy. I feel bad for Gen Z. Like, as much as Gen Z likes to label things, because Gen Z loves to label sexuality, but they apparently don't like the labels of boyfriend and girlfriend. That's what I'm getting from this season. But yeah, Casey's mom talked about how she liked that TT had her son's back. Casey again said that TT reminds him of his mom. Honestly, I felt like Casey's mom had the personality of a rock, so I would be offended if I was being compared to her if I was TT. But Casey did say that his mom doesn't say a lot, and maybe that is why Casey also has problems communicating, because clearly his mom does not communicate much at all. Casey's sister threw a little shade at Aniya, just like Aniya's mom threw shade at Casey. Casey's sister saying that TT finally brought out Casey's personality. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I feel like Casey's always had a personality, though I do feel like his personality gets along much better with TT. After their family visit, Casey said he is excited to live life with her after the villa. Kenzie and Dylan's families were next. Her mom and brother came. We found out that Kenzie's 20-year-old brother had a crush on Kayda. And then, of course, we get a comment from Zach saying, he's good looking. These editors love to put in every time Zach says something positive about a man. It seems like Dylan's mom and brother think that both Dylan and Kenzie are goofy, which they are. I've been saying that if Dylan is actually being a real person and not being an actor like he seems to be, he and Kenzie actually do match each other's vibes. And I've been saying all season that I didn't think a guy would be able to come in to match Kenzie's cracked out vibes, but I actually do feel like Dylan does. So if they are being real, all of the love that their families gave them here, maybe they do have a shot outside the villa. I don't know. Dylan and his brother had a conversation together about the problems they had with Kenzie exploring. His mom said that Kenzie apologized and owned up to it, so basically Dylan needs to get over it. They talked about Kenzie's dad having to watch the show, and sometimes he has to watch it, shaking his head. Kenzie's mom saying she felt all of Kenzie's emotions, and she knows Kenzie's been going through a hard time lately, so she did have a little cry for Kenzie. Kenzie's dad sent a video, talked about how before he and Kenzie's mom met each other, they also had messy dating lives, and Kenzie only knew them when they were together with each other. He said, with love, you only have to get it right once. I thought Kenzie's dad's video was pretty deep. I enjoyed it. In fact, I liked their family time more than I thought I would. Kenzie pulled Dylan's mom for a chat before they left, saying she really does care about Dylan, was upset to see that he was upset. So it actually seemed like Kenzie and Dylan's mom had a good talk too. I still don't know if Kenzie and Dylan truly like each other, but they acted like they did in this episode pretty well. Like, Kenzie pulling his mom aside was a pretty big deal. Zach and Kayda were next. We had Zach's brother Charlie back in the villa. We learned that both of their families love Bryce and Trinity. The only good thing that Kayda's family did is that Kayda's sister gave shit to Zach for the bad joke at the end of the hideaway about how, what if he explores a bombshell now right after they had sex, which is crazy. One of many things that Zach has done that is shady, though. So I felt like Kayda's mom and sister were just like, well, Kayda looks happy, she seems happy, so we're happy. And I get that, but is Zach happy with your daughter? And I do feel like they should still be concerned about that. I did like that when they talked about being exclusive, Kayda's mom was like me, and many of us that are older than 20, 8 that exclusive, doesn't that just mean boyfriend and girlfriend? But like Kayda and Zach keep saying it's not boyfriend and girlfriend. Charlie didn't really add much, honestly. He did say in confessional that Zach did better than him in the villa. Obviously, Zach's sister threw some shade at Casey, saying that unlike other people in Casa, Zach didn't say anything bad in Casa. Kayda's sister did tell Kayda that she was annoyed with Zach at first because of his jokes. They don't know his sense of humor, but the family can see that she is happy. And Zach's brother and sister think that Zach is scared to commit, which is obvious. Sincere and Melanie's families are the ones that brought the drama. His dad and brother came, and his father was very disappointed in his son. Melanie's sister, right off the bat, was throwing shade at Sincere when all the families were together, saying that she has a lot to talk with Melanie about, especially about Beloved. She was calling Sincere Beloved for, Sincere calling both her and Soul Beloved. Her sister said that Sincere says a lot of the same things, but then goes back and never changes his ways, which is what we have all been seeing. Sincere started to apologize. Bryce and Trinity were watching on, being their nosy, messy selves. Again, I'm going to say, I like that I'm seeing younger people start to realize that when you can gossip with your significant other, it's actually great. I've been saying this all season. That's one of the things I've actually liked most about Bryce and Trinity, that they do gossip together, because that is fun. And it means you actually give a shit about what each other thinks and about what's going on in each other's lives and each other's friends' lives. So good to see Bryce and Trinity turn people on to that. Sincere's father said that his family was rooting for Melanie and they're sorry, and that this is not the real Sincere, but it is the real Sincere. Her family said that Melanie gave Sincere a lot of chances, and his father said it is not acceptable, and it has to be said that he can't allow what he's seen, that he raised Sincere with the moral compass, that he wasn't going to come all the way up here and support what Sincere has been doing because it is unacceptable. When they got pulled to a side with their families, Melanie's sister wants to be real with Melanie, says that she loves Melanie, says that she doesn't deserve this, that Sincere is not treating her right, that she needs to remember the Melanie that left Philly to go live her own life. She said that Sincere is playing her and not treating her like the queen, like she deserves. Her mom spoke Spanish, saying that the heart is sacred, said that Melanie gave Sincere way too many chances when there are so many other men out there wanting a first chance. And I was really hoping this was getting through to Melanie. Sincere's father told Sincere that he came to correct him, said that he has to move better and honesty is key, and he has to be committed. That Sincere needs to know when to say when. Sincere talked about how he learned things about himself, but it had to come at the expense of Melanie and other girls' emotions. His father asked why he leads women on. We got a usual comparison from Sincere about trying to find the right glove that fits, but it turned out to be Melanie all along. I can't take anything Sincere says seriously. So even his father giving Sincere all the crap that he rightfully deserves, I don't think it landed. I don't believe that Sincere is just going to change his ways because of all this. I don't. But Sincere said this is a reality check, and his father said that Melanie gave him these chances because they are here, and that she wouldn't give all these chances out in the real world. Before Melanie's sister left, she told Melanie that all of her crying broke her heart. She told Melanie that Melanie came onto the show to find her person, but that her person is not here. And they talked about how wasting time with the wrong person is going to take longer to find the right person. But it didn't hit. Melanie then had a conversation with Trinity and Aniya. Aniya did talk about her mother, saying that she hasn't been straightforward enough with Melanie and thinks that Aniya has minimized what Sincere has done and that Melanie does deserve better. Melanie did talk about people saying their team Sincere, but Melanie says that she understands where her friends come from, said that Sincere is a good person who just did her bad. she has feelings for him, but she doesn't trust him. She doesn't know if she wants to be with him with him on the outside. But when she walked away with Sincere, Aniya and Trinity continued to talk about it, saying they have kind of downplayed Sincere's actions, but they both think that Sincere and Melanie have something. They will support whatever Melanie wants. I'll say this. I've given my crap to Aniya this season that she has told Melanie what she wanted to hear rather than what she needs to hear. But Melanie doesn't listen to anybody. People have came in and told Melanie all these things. The Casa guys, TT, Amora, and now her mom and sister came in, told her all of these truth bombs. And in the end, Melanie says that she wants to do her own thing. Because, yeah, if Melanie is not listening to her sister and mom, there was nothing Aniya or Trinity or anyone in the villa was going to be able to say or do. Melanie makes her own decisions. She has her own agency. It's what I've said about Casey all season. He had his own agency when he was fucking up. Melanie has had her own agency to make terrible decisions with Sincere over and over and over. So Melanie told Sincere that she still wants to see what life looks like outside the villa with him, even if she looks dumb. But if he fucks up again, she will be done with him. He'll be dead to her. My thing is, though, she is always talking about how this connection with Sincere is special. But what is so special about it? The only thing that comes off special to me is Melanie's thought process. It's very, very special indeed.